What's going on, you guys? It's Chris, aka the Nerd Dad, and if you guys have been following me on Instagram, on YouTube, you guys have seen that I was super excited for the release of this show of The Last of Us. I was in the middle of a stream of The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, but my capture card took a big crap, so I couldn't finish it. But I am super excited because episode 1 came out last night, and I have two guests on here that I actually really wanted to show. One, he is a veteran to gaming. He knows all about the story. He knows all about the story of the game and to the show, and now we know what we want to anticipate. And the second is going to be somebody who just finished both games, and he has a fresh mind to the game, and I really want to see what he has to give you guys regarding the show and the game. So I want to introduce you guys to my two friends, Elvis, the Brodalorian, and we got... I want to actually, you know what, this guy, he's so good at introducing himself. I want him to do it because he's so damn good at it. It is...
Yes. Oh, mate.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself because
so
your ass is so good at introducing yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Chris Nerd Dad channel, what's happening? Seb's here. How's it going? We're talking The Last of Us, mate. Spoiler discussion. Hey, don't be watching this video, yeah? If you ain't seen spoilers, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. Add it to your watch later list. And then come back, mate. And then come back. And you're good to go.
Super excited, dude. Like, this is something I've personally been waiting for. When it came out on PS3 and the remaster came out on PS4, and then part 2 of the game came out, I was like, dude, they have to remake 1 to look just like 2. And then a lot of people were saying, no, that's a waste of money. Why would you do that? But now that they did it, I'm like, it just looks so... $70 is expensive for a brand new game.
It's a bit of dollars, bro.
Yeah. But compared to how much money they put into the show, so from what I read, they did... the amount of 9 episodes equals 5 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Whoa.
That
was a big budget.
That is,
So,
yeah, they're not playing
it's
games with that
huge.
budget, bro.
So I'm going to start first with you, Sams, because you know the game. You've played the game. When did you first play it? PS3, PS4, or the PS5?
PS3.
PS3. So
PS3, and then I've done the remaster PS4, and then I haven't finished the PS5 version yet. And I'm one of the people that actually really liked the second one. And a lot of my mates really didn't like the second game. I'm not going to go into spoilers just in case, because I know a lot of people who've seen my videos haven't played the games, and they're like mind blown with what's just happened on episode 1. So I'm not going to talk about the game, but the second game is a big thing. It is a lot of tonal changes and stuff. But I liked it, man. And I think I'm down for the ride, mate. That's the thing. I'm down for the ride. And I can't see them effing it up. That's the most important thing.
So would you say in the first hour and a half of the show compared to the game, you're already satisfied?
Yeah, I would say like it's been a minute since I finished the first game, but they done a lot in that first episode, man, of the first game. They done a lot. It kind of ended where I thought it was going to end.
Same.
And yeah, I can't, like, if I'm moaning about anything, it's like not even things to nitpick about. Like, we can talk about it at the end of the video. Like, there's one complaint I've seen on my video. There's one thing people moaned about, and it's such a niche thing that made me think. And then I was kind of like, actually, it's nothing. But for me, I felt like it was like 95% what I thought it was going to be, and then a little bit extra. And then, so I'm good with it, man. Like, what are you lot saying, Elvis? Like, did you enjoy it, bruv?
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I just got done playing the game, so I just like lived all of these scenes less than 2 weeks ago, and watching it, it was. I remember texting Chris after I got through the prologue of the game. You know, like, are we getting into spoilers yet? I don't want to say stuff yet. But when Sarah dies, like, I text Chris. I was like, the first 20 minutes of this game is the most intense game that I've like ever played. This is amazing. And he's like, dude, you're gonna love this. So, you know, I played the whole game, but when they did it in the show, it's like I relived it all, and I'm like getting teared up and stuff, and just like every single decision they've made in the show has been right on. Like, even the ones where they changed stuff from the game, not that, you know, there were big changes, that the main story is the same, but the little backstories that we didn't get, or the little side stories, little changes that, you know, they've done, they should have done in the game. It's only been perfect decisions so far. I don't know. That's my opinion so far.
I think that how you said with backstories, that it makes sense with the show how they did it. So, for instance, Sarah, how did she fix Joel's watch? His watch, right?
Mhm.
You know, that was the intro of the game, and now we saw the intro of how she did it, where she went, and then how the city's already reacting to the
Mhm.
news and things that's kind of like, okay, I hate to say it, but COVID.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
When we started
yeah,
getting those
yeah, yeah.
news, we had people who were like, it's fine. We had people who were kind of freaking out,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
you think back to then when heard about it on the news and people were making uh well, it's weird to say a big deal out of it, but that's kind of how I felt back at the time. I was like, oh, whatever, it's fine. It's in another country, whatever. We don't have nothing to worry about. But you think back to that time, and that's kind of what when you see the little clips on the news or you hear the little message on the radio or the shopkeeper saying you're done, close, just that person that instantly is freaking out saying get your customers out, lock your doors. You kind of see all of those interactions just like at the beginning of COVID.
Well, even I want to say in the game where Joel or when Sarah's looking for Joel, Joel's downstairs, the neighbor comes and he breaks the window, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, Joel, you're just up at 12 a.m. walking around, not doing anything, you know? So throwing in the story that Sarah was very close to the neighbor, and then you look like the grandmother, you can kind of see her spazzing out already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting to get there.
The
And then
build up is so much
ends up
better.
being her who ends up seeing the neighbor, but Joel's still the one. Instead of shooting him, he used a huge wrench.
Yeah, he just smacked
But
her fucking head off, mate.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's this kind of the same story of the game, but you're changing it slightly because now it makes even more sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the changes so far they've made, I love it.
Mhm.
You know, even Joel has a backstory. He,
Yeah.
which, okay, so I cracked up. I told my girlfriend this. I was like, that's kind of messed up, but makes sense. So Joel is from Austin, Texas. All right. In the game, he's what would you say? He's Caucasian, right?
Mhm.
And then you have Pedro Pascal, who's of Hispanic,
Yeah, yeah,
his
yeah.
Hispanic descent. His
Mhm.
brother is Hispanic as well, and they lay tile and carpet. You know what I mean? So the connection, I'm like, yeah, that's very realistic of a person in that way. And then they did give him a bit of a Texas accent.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can
You
you
know what
lot
I mean?
notice the accent? I can't notice Jack.
Oh,
I can't
I
notice
noticed it.
anything, man. Like it just not being like that guy, but it sounds the same. Like I can't notice any like difference of like areas. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if anyone was supposed to sound like they're from Boston, I didn't notice. Like
That
do you know
I
what
didn't
I mean?
notice.
You didn't notice, or you did
No,
notice?
I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There you go,
That one
bro.
I didn't
Like
notice.
yeah.
No, I thought he definitely sounded like he was from Texas. Like he had, I think he's trying to sound like Joel from the game. Honestly, I think that's
Mm.
his
Mhm.
Joel voice.
There were moments there. Actually, his brother who plays Tommy sounds just like Tommy.
Mhm.
There's a few
Yeah, he
times
was pretty sick.
I had to literally
He-
look at
what's his name
IMDb and
again,
check
bruv?
it. I don't remember his brother's name.
Nah, the actor, bruv, the actor who's playing Tommy. I can't remember his name, bruv.
I
Satin
can pull it up.
Luna. I know I actually really like him as an actor, man. He's actually really, really sick, and I can't wait for him to have like more time in these next coming episodes because obviously we only saw like that much of him in episode 1. Then we've got the 20-year gap, and we've been with Joel for 20 years. But I want to see what's Tommy looking like with a 20-year gap. Do you know what I mean? So that's gonna be.
Is it
pretty sick.
Diego Luna? Oh, no, Gabriel Luna.
That's Gabriel Luna. There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There we go. There we go. I knew it was
And-
Luna something. I just couldn't remember it.
He played the part so well.
Mm.
And you know what? Here's the thing too is why I really enjoy the show was we didn't get too much of Sarah in the game. We got her on the couch, gives him the watch, goes to bed, wakes up, all hell breaks loose. We got to see her in school. We got to see her prepping breakfast for her dad because it's his birthday.
Mhm.
We have more backstory. I'm like, you know what?
I think
Sometimes
that
it's
you do need that because, like, with a
100%.
game, like you're going to be playing for like I can't remember. I don't know. Elvis played it recently, but I can't remember how long The Last of Us is. I think it's like 30 plus hours, minimum 30 hours. Yeah, let's just say you can have that over a game, but for a show, you need to like really, especially if you're going to do some emotional stuff to it, you need to hammer it in. So I'm so glad they gave his daughter some more time to shine because bless her, like she didn't get that much screen time in the games, but luckily, like in here, they really gave it to her.
I think we needed more Sarah, like because for the rest of the show to make sense, and I'm not gonna say anything, but the correlation to the love and the loss, they needed more of a moment, at the beginning to look back on, because we only get Sarah for this episode. This is it, like they had to establish this character as, someone that is fun and loving and passionate and like takes care of the neighbor lady and fixes the watch for her dad, and like, just that she's this really cool daughter and that relationship's so great. And that's, the moment that he loses her is like the day Joel dies inside, and time literally stops for him, and he's just dead. He's like a changed man. So I think we really need, and the actress, my goodness, like imagine being told you get one episode to sell your story, and that's it. And she did so good.
Yeah, she's gonna be on some big shows
that's
now,
a good
mate.
way of
She
putting
was
it.
really good.
And I think giving her that backstory, literally, okay, again, obviously you're not gonna watch it if there's spoilers. It makes her death hurt even more, because now you know her personality, you know what she did that day, you know what she was striving to do, the type of daughter she was to Joel. It made her hurt even more.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think something that didn't really connect for me in the game. So when you are first leaving Boston, and Ellie makes the joke, "Oh my God, I'm outside!" Like it happens just like in the game. In the game, you're walking up a semi trailer, a lorry trailer for Sims, but you're walking up this truck trailer, and then you get hit on the head by Fedra, and you have the scuffle. Ellie stabs them, and you end up killing them, right? And you just move on. It felt like part of the mission. It was just the next step to get through. You don't, and when you play the game, you don't realize Joel having that, reliving that moment, like you just saw it happen. And
Yeah.
then when they put just that one clip of the guard, and then him holding Sarah, and then, animal instinct and just attacks him.
Yeah,
Like
man.
you felt that more in the show than you did in the game.
He beat him down.
Yeah,
Boy.
and you feel
His
it.
hands was mashed up, mate. Like he just wouldn't stop beating him, brother. And like eventually someone's gonna say, "Yo, what happened, man? What happened to you, bro? Like, why are you going Super Saiyan on this guy's face?" So I can't wait to see that. Like,
Sam's, you pointed out. I watched your video already, because I was like, dude, I was so hyped. Like, I have to watch your video, see what you have to say. And this is one thing I know I'm gonna let you take over this. The POV in the car scene.
Mate, so sick, bro.
Identical
so
to the game.
Like, so sick. I think it was even longer in the show. Like,
oh yeah.
I wondered if they were going to do the burning house, and the reason that's fresh in here, and I'm so nerdy because like 2 months ago I did that gameplay video. I know like it's the same thing, but it's actually back to front. So in the game, the burning house is in the right side of the car, but the show it's on the left. Just I know I didn't want to say that on like my video because I was like, that's too like nerdy, man. That's too much of it, yeah. But I loved it, mate. The POV inside, the airplane bit was, I mean, you can see where the budget was, bruv. I mean, that
got
was,
me.
yeah,
that got me, because when they got into town, and then they're driving through, and then the car comes, and then it breaks, and I was like, oh, here it comes. Oh, it didn't happen. What happened? And then the plane comes. I'm like, oh, that's how they switched it.
Yeah,
that's how they flipped it on you. I was like, okay, that's a change I like. It's more dramatic, and it's also, again, like you just said, the budget.
Well, Sims just made a connection that I heard another person make as well, and that this show is a mirror version of the game. And in the game, there's a mod that you can turn on that's called mirror mode. So the game's flipped. You can even have it set to every time you die, it flips. So it's like you're in a different world. But anyway, there's this mirror mode in the game that they built in, and there's some significance to that mirror mode. But another YouTuber mentioned when he's holding Ellie, or when he's holding Sarah, and when Ellie's at the window, they didn't mention the house on fire. But every scene, if you look at it side by side, game and show, it's flipped. Ellie's on the other side of the room. And yeah, they're nice, Chris.
Yeah, the speed, ladies and gentlemen. that my man just brought that up. I mean, that's sick though, man. Really sick.
I had it ready.
There's another image, I think, of him holding Sarah, maybe. But I think that's like a mirror image too. It's like flipped. Oh, it is flipped. Look at that.
It is flipped. It is. And you know what? When that scene happened, I was like, that's Joel.
Mm.
That is Joel. I can't pick anyone else to play Joel. That's him. That's him.
I was worried about this show, boy. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like when they first announced it, I was like, "You're gonna make arguably the greatest PS3 game ever into a show." I was like, "Get out of it, bro." Now, first it was a film, then it was a show, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, maybe." And then it was like, and HBO doing it. I was like, "Oh yeah, damn. All right, cool." And it's from the writers of Chernobyl, and they've got this budget, and Pedro's in it, and I'm like, "Damn, okay, chill." Like, and then. After this first
Stakes
episode,
are getting high.
yeah, no, just chill, man. Just chill. And then they dropped the trailer, and I was like, "Yo, this is next level, man."
And
so
you know what's funny was
any concerns I have, gone, bro.
oh, same. What's funny is Naughty Dog did Uncharted, right? And I saw the movie. You know, I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it. I was like,
yeah.
Well, it's okay. It's not terrible.
It's an action thriller.
Yeah, and
what
then
it's
you
supposed
jump.
to be, right?
You know, you jump to this, and no joke. I saw Sarah die on PS3.
Yeah.
Saw her die on PS4. 5, and now I have to see it in live action. I was like, dude. And my girlfriend is sitting right next to me, and she's looking at me, and I'm thinking the whole time I'm thinking of my daughter. And a couple of times I just had to go like this. I was like, dude, like that sucks. Seeing that again for a fourth time. Now it's actually like live characters. You know,
wait till the anniversary edition comes out on PS6.
Number 5.
You'll be playing it again, bro. Oh, man.
Crying now feels nostalgic.
Dude, it hurt, man. I was like, dude, that is so bad, and you know it's coming.
I know,
you
right?
know it's coming, and it's just like just like the car scene. You know it's coming, and didn't come. I was like, oh, the plane comes, but you knew Sarah was coming. The death of Sarah was coming, and then it still hurt, just like the first time you saw it.
And like the Adlers, the neighbors, you know it's coming, but you're like, oh, I hope they make it the grandma instead of the dad. They made it the grandma.
And did you notice the part where when Joel was leaving the house because he grabbed Sarah, they were getting ready to leave, and then the Adlers came out and they drive, and I don't know if he hits one of them.
Yeah,
he may have hit one of them, and then a neighbor goes, "What the hell, Joel?" And she went to go check on them.
Dead.
And then Mr. Adler comes, grabs her from the back, and starts eating her. And I'm like, bro.
I love
One
it.
thing I did read in the show there was in the game they're not doing are the spores.
They're not doing the spores.
No, so he's not going to be
very, very interesting.
Yeah,
it makes sense though.
Nah, but bro, it don't, bro.
Because
I'll tell you why, yeah. There's
because
iconic scenes with Ellie, bruv. There's
when Ellie has her mask ripped off,
yes. And there's scenes where I want to see like people's reactions, like, oh yeah, because that in the game when they react to her not getting affected by it because of like the mask and blah blah, they're iconic scenes, man. And I remember, I swear, like we saw the like mashed up clicker dude on the wall, like at the 3/4 mark. Shouldn't that be releasing spores, or does it have to be like a lot of them in one area?
It should,
because I can't remember, man.
It technically should. That was the moment when so in the game they saw that and they said, "Wow, he must have been here for a while," and then they walked on. But in the show, he must have been here for a while, or he came in after, or right, he's right before us, and that was when they saw the spores and they put it on, and then you go through a corridor and there's a guy who's pinned in between filing cabinets, and then she says, should we kill him or not, and they end up shooting him. And that's one thing about the game and the show they didn't do, which I'm totally okay with, because you're saving time. That whole progress going underground, getting in the elevator, you grab your backpack.
You kind of show it going up
that
the
was
ladder,
eliminated. It was eliminated, and I was okay with that. I was like, I'm totally okay with that. But it was more of me saying, oh god, so how is this episode going to end? I wanted to press pause to see how much more time we had, but then I didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to see where we're going.
Yeah, because you know what's coming, so you're like, okay, based off the minutes left, they could do this or that. Yeah. I'm okay with the spores thing only because it's TV, and do you want people filmed in mass? And I'm okay with them kind of hitting the skip button on that, and they can write it later where she gets bit again or something versus the mask coming off, so they can kind of dance around it. But visually, it would have been kind of neat to see the spores flying.
And then how do you film the spores? Isn't it? That is one you film it as dust because you can't really see dust.
That's what it looks like, kind of. Really, you have to shine it with a light.
Thick. Yeah, it's really thick, isn't it? Like, I don't think that. I mean, let's be real. They
Kind of
filmed a
reminds me
bloody
of,
plane coming out of the sky. They got the budget for it, but
you know, in Stranger Things when they're on the upside down.
Mm.
There's kind of like that crap in the air.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
reminds me of that.
Elvis, here's another one for you, and your point to that is dead on. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, mate.
The mirror effect.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
You know,
mirrored.
there's one.
You know what's interesting here is in the video game, when he talks back to his commander.
There you go, left and right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, she's looking out the right window, looking out the left window.
I love this scene.
Yeah, that's spot on right there. Holy cow!
I liked. There were little touches in this episode that I didn't notice in the game. I didn't know if they were in the game. A little bit. It's like, you know, when he gets in the truck and then he drives off. He's got that sticker on the back of his truck.
Yeah,
that shows like he's had like training. I don't know.
Oh,
what
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
like. Do you know what I mean? In
Desert
American terms, I don't know how it is, but I know he's got like combat training.
I think he was like
And then-
National Guard or something.
Yeah, something. And
Yeah.
then he's in the truck with Sarah and Tommy, and then they're coming to that dead end bit, and he's like, quickly, yo, go here, do this. I like that thinking on the spot kind of thing. Just those little bits of information, man. I like that because, you know, 20 years later, if you got to do that every day, you're going to be ruthless, man. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to play games like.
What do you guys think about Tess?
Yeah, good.
Tess was stronger in the video game.
Definitely stronger. I thought she was fine for what she had to do. Wasn't like standout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so she got a backstory. Now we know why she was beat up versus her just saying that she got
she
jumped.
mentioned it. She mentioned she got it was Robert. She mentioned it was him, and then they went to go get him. But they didn't show the the actual hitting, but they showed her in the chair. They showed her surrounded by the guys, and they showed Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, what we were talking about earlier was they're adding backstory to the show that we'd never got in the game.
Right. She
So
just shows
almost-
up and he's like,
Yeah.
"What happened to your face?" And she said she got jumped by a couple of Robert's guys.
The one thing they didn't mention was like the fact that Joel had taken a bunch of those are opioids, and he was drinking whiskey with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he was
They're,
out.
they're
He was-
definitely showing he's broke.
He
100%.
is very sad inside. As Elvis said, he is dead, mate. He's a husk.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Oh, mate.
Sorry, my bad.
No. Did I mention husk? Get out of here, bro.
I think one thing. So they changed out the fact that Robert stole the weapons. Right? They changed
Now
the
it's a
weapons
battery,
to
yeah.
now it's a battery, and the change with that is weird.
How'd you feel about it? Yeah.
I love it.
I thought it worked for the show, but I thought
Yeah.
guns would have been like sick.
Yeah.
But the
Because the
battery
main-
to get Tommy kind of like.
Well, the
So, I
thing
mean-
was in the show, there was no. It seemed okay. Well, if you haven't played the game, spoiler alert. Oh, I didn't want to say that.
It's all spoilers. People,
Yeah.
that's a
so
warning.
when you see Tommy later, it seems like he left on his own,
Mhm.
and they just split up because of whatever he had in his past. This one was he was going to the cell tower or the tower to do whatever it is, and the reason why he wants the battery is to go get his brother.
It's a little more, I think.
It's more, and I think it's going to be more story driven. It's going to get a little bit more complicated as time goes on, or as episodes go on.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the point, like the route that they're going.
It's gonna get wet, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna get wet because the game has got so much action. You can only do so much action in a show, so you need to like, do you know what I mean? Balance it back out. Easiest
Yeah, and
way.
even
just add some story elements. in it.
In the game when they went to go look for Robert, it was what they wanted. They were going through the quarantine zone. They were going through the checkpoint, the explosion of the Jeep, and that's when the Fireflies came out. They switched that to where it's now Tess being tied to a chair, or she's stuck on a chair. The explosion goes off there, and the battle happens before. So it still happened. They just did it at different times. It still worked.
Yeah.
100% still worked.
I'm gonna ask you both a random question, yeah, because you know I'm random Sams, isn't it? Yeah. The show kind of had two openings. The first opening was the three gentlemen speaking about the fungus thing, which I think is
Which was great.
absolutely horrible, mate. In fact, sense of like, if I was hearing that and I had like some stress problems, bruv, I'd be like, nah, I can't be dealing hearing this thing, bruv. That was like the soft opening. And then the second opening is when the child's walking into the quarantine, scanned, it's red, gets straight to sent to the shadow realm. What opening did you prefer? Because that opening with the kid, that got me, man. I'm not even gonna joke. Like that was like, damn. If you weren't ready, if it hasn't sunk in your soul how deep this story is by Joel's daughter getting deleted, yeah, now you know that this is no games, bro. And then he's the one that chucked in the fire, bro. I was like, damn. So my question is, which opening was better for you, man? How you lot like? What are you saying?
Elvis, I'm gonna let you go first on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to. I have some deep thoughts on this.
Oh damn. Let's go.
So it's the same opening. So he says that. So he gives the story about the ant and the fungi take over. They can't do it in humans, but what happens if global warming happens and the fungi have a reason to now infect humans and they take over the mind and you lose humanity. That is the overall undertone theme of the show, is a loss of humanity.
Yeah, man.
So what he said in the 1960s, fast forward to 2023, there's no humanity. This is a kid and you're just putting him down.
Yep.
You've lost all humanity. It's the same story. This is what's going to happen. Here it is. It's happening. We lose. I don't know.
You know what's funny is I like the first intro more. So how he was talking about ants and the fungi, and the fungi would take over the ant, and the ant would essentially be controlled by the fungus, right?
Yeah.
That's real. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That can really happen. And that was the idea that Neil Druckmann came up with adding the infected, was of that real fungus. That is a real thing that happens to ants. So the fact that the scientist was talking about, it's a real thing.
It's like legit.
It's a real type of cordyceps that actually attacks the mind, because do ants have brains? No, but it affects the ants, and then they go on and do their crazy things. Is it possible to happen to humans? It's not, because like they said in the show, you can't. The temperatures of the human body, it won't survive. But the fact that they threw the ants, and then he says, "What if the temperatures on Earth change?
Yeah, like
You're gonna have to evolve." And I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" So it's weird, because if you played the game before and you're listening to this, you're like, "Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen."
Yeah, like global warming, zombies.
Yeah, if you've never seen the game, never played the game, have no idea about it, and someone told you to watch the show, and you're sitting there and it's a prologue, or what's the word before it? Well,
prologue.
Yeah. So you're kind of sitting there like, oh shit, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Why
bracing you, bro.
Why is this so significant? We know why it is, because we played the game, but the fact they threw in real, actual information in there, that what happens to the ants, dude, I loved it.
Yeah.
The little kid thing was,
that was real bad. I said in my thing, I was like, hey man, every video game I've ever played, red means dead. He's dead, bruv. Like, that's it. There's no world where red's good. Do you know what I mean?
I know your headphones are red, right?
Nah, they're cool, bro. They're right. Different shade, bro. Different. This is
mine are red right here.
Actually, a certain color shade of red. Just can't remember what it is.
But it also really helps sell the fact of how dead inside Joel is when he's like, "Yeah, I can pick this kid up and throw him in the fire, no problem."
Yeah.
What's next? You want me to clean shit for an extra couple ration cards? Okay, I'll do that. I know. Like, he's just so dead.
And you, so what are you guys' thoughts on the quarantine zone? Was it just like the game? Exactly.
Yeah, even some of the shots overhead that they do.
So sick.
Put me in blast.
Yep.
Some of the visuals, and like when you walk through, and like the lines for things, like in the game, it was a line to get rations, and then in the show, it was a line to use the phone, basically. By the way, the fact that the radio guy is Joel from the video game, the guy that voiced Joel in the game.
Really?
Oh, they were talking to. Oh, yeah. So when they talk to each other, they kind of sound like each other.
That was Troy Baker?
Yeah. That was the Joel who voiced the video game.
The one that was doing the whole radio stuff?
Yeah, with like the beard and the glasses and smoking.
If that was him with makeup on, bruv.
No way.
That was pretty sick, if that's him.
And
I'm gonna have to rewatch that now. I don't know why I missed that.
Marlene
is the real person.
I thought, damn, they found someone that sounded just like the character. And then the HBO after whatever was like, we got Marlene who voiced the character. I'm like, oh, it's actually her. That's so many nice nods like that to the video game.
Unsatisfied with the way they found Robert, because in the game Joel chases after him, and you have that scene. He's running through different corridors. He's jumping over tables, going through the deli section of that part of the warehouse. You find him, and then she
Mm.
pretty much approaches him. She goes, "You sold our guns. Those are our guns." And Joel is essentially her quote unquote muscle. This one, they just opened the door and he's already dead. Did that take away from your experience of the game, or because it's a show, it's fine?
I think they actually established the scene and the rest of the show better this way. One little bit of an Easter egg when you climb up the ladder and the door's supposed to be open. I feel like I have to hit the triangle button because that's the button to push the door and push the body out of the way. So it's like just like in the game. Um, but the fact that Robert had the scuffle with Marlene, and that's why Marlene shot, because he tried to sell them a bad battery that Joel actually needed. Come to find out, oh, it was a bad battery. I still need a battery. I still need something from Marlene. I have a need to continue with moving Ellie somewhere. So I think it establishes it better. And I mean, in the game, you're a gun smuggler. You need the guns. That makes sense. That's cool. But in this is more real world. He's smuggling things like drugs. He needs things like batteries to get from city to city. I think that's more realistic of maybe how someone might live 20 years into an apocalyptic world. People want drugs. And you got to love even the little fact when he sells them the drugs and he's like, I need the baggie back because of course there's no one making plastic and plastic's like a commodity. He needs that to keep smuggling things. So it just shows how apocalyptic it really is. So I actually liked it.
Sam's?
You caught me well off guard.
You had to think about it. You had to think about it.
I'll be honest, like I was thinking I preferred the game version, but then it's so action heavy that I think I want to see the action being really meaningful. If we're gonna have a shootout, yeah, give it to me episode 2, man. Give it to me episode 3, episode 4. I don't need to see like the crazy shootout in episode 1. Do you know what I mean? I want like the emotional layers, the world building. I need that stuff to be like primed right now. I don't know about you lot, yeah, but for me, it felt like in this episode 1 that the military are really controlling everything. One guy shoots, the squad turns up, you do something wrong, you're getting hung. Like I felt like that was a real big thing. So I felt like having a shootout as well would have been a bit too much. Like seeing it go crazy would have been a little bit maybe too much for me. I don't know. I like because that's the thing of like, you know, you get 20 years later, it's mashed up. I like the idea that I thought it was going to be something else, and then they arrive and everyone's already dead. I like that stuff. Maybe it's like a cheese way to tie it nicely into a story. I felt it wasn't. I felt it was very, very smooth. Felt realistic. So yeah, I'm fine with it, bro.
And one thing, like in video games, there's always a million henchmen to kill, right? So like it's run around a corner, shoot a bad guy, run around the corner, shoot a bad guy. And you know, by the time you've finished this 80-hour game, whatever it is, you've probably killed 1,000 bad guys.
Yeah.
You can't really pull that off in a movie or a series. It's too much. You have to skip over a lot of that and just kind of like pick and choose the important moments.
The one thing that confused me a little bit was where Robert was selling the battery to Marlene, right? And then whenever you meet Marlene and she tells you to help her, you know, take Ellie out of the city, and she goes, "Don't worry, I'll get you a battery with a running car and weapons." And I sat there. So why'd you need the battery from Robert if you have a running truck?
To get out of Boston.
I'm gonna say that's the one thing about the episode. I was like, wait,
just bluffing it, bro.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna get you a helicopter. There's gonna be a crew on there, and there's gonna be
submarine
everything.
if you need it.
Yeah,
whatever you need,
sub,
it's there.
Hovercraft. We've got you everything, bro. You're good to go, mate.
And guess what? We had the cure to humanity. You don't even know it yet.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, I'll just throw it out there now. Yeah, we've been on live enough now, bruv. Yeah, the two things I've seen people complain about. Yeah, the one thing is that the actual thing we know she reveals the bite. That was a big thing in the game. Like it really like showed good time to let it sink in the show, and it's probably more realistic because if you've just beat someone to death and you've got people coming and you're like, yo man, what are you gonna do? You're gonna shoot her, then what? Go back? Like you have to just go now. So I felt that was cool, but a lot of people were moaning like, I wish they would have showed the bite for longer. But you know, it'd be episode 2, like the first few seconds. But what did you lot feel about that? Do you feel like that should have been dragged a little bit.
No, I don't think so. The only reason why
Hmm.
is we did get in the trailer. We do see. Actually, we're going to say her name, but they also mentioned it was Riley.
Hmm.
Riley, yeah.
You know, Marlene mentioned, she goes, "How do you think Riley would have felt about this?" So they could have just showed a little bit of what her bite mark, but we are going to get the quote unquote DLC that we got from the game.
The left
We're
hand.
gonna see the bite. We're gonna see
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens to her and Riley. So I think that's when they're gonna explore it a lot more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
And I
we've
think I
also
prefer
seen,
that.
and we also saw in the first trailer when Joel says, if you squirm for a second, you're dead or whatever, and then she starts going "Ah," or whatever, like. So we've already seen something about the bite. Like there's more conversation to happen. And my wife said, so when she saw the red on the thing, she's like, "Oh, she's sick. Then she's infected." I'm like, "That's why they were having her talk and say 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
4, and all that, because they've been monitoring her nervous system to see if she's losing control, and it's been 3 weeks and she hasn't changed, and it normally takes 3 hours." And she said, "Well, why didn't Marlene tell Joel that how important she was?" And I'm like, "Well, this is real world, not a video game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you tell someone you have the cure to humanity, one, they're going to take it and sell it, or
Yep.
two, they're going to say BS, dead, move on. I'm going to go make money another way. Like it's actually better that Marlene didn't tell him and he had to kind of find out as it was too late to find out. He has to keep going at this point. He needs
So
that battery.
I will say one other thing that I sat there, I was like, how come that didn't make any sense to me? Was the way we saw the introduction to between Ellie and Marlene. In the game, it seemed like they've known each other for a very long time,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
something happened to Ellie's mom, and Marlene was her mother figure.
Hmm.
But for some reason, the show it seemed like
Mm.
she's seen her before. They're acquaintances. They know of each other. It just kind of seemed like they weren't so close because the idea was Marlene was supposed to take her to the capital.
Hmm.
What it,
And that was when the one line came in about Raina. What was the friend's name?
Riley.
Riley. That part of that comment about the Riley. So it was like Riley trusted me, so you should trust me too. Like I think they were trying to add a little something there. I don't know if it hit, but they were
This,
trying anyway.
so Elvis, I have a question for you because this is actually a really we don't know because my girlfriend she saw me play the game and she knows what happens. Sam's, you obviously know what happens. What was Elvis? What was your wife's reaction to not knowing anything about the game to seeing that first episode?
Unfortunately, I've kind of been telling her every night what happened in the game.
Never mind. Next topic. I'm
Yeah,
getting.
Next question, bruv. Get out of here.
As soon as we sat down to watch the show, and she's like, "And this is the daughter that dies," and I'm like, "Honey, do you really want me to say? Like, just watch the show."
I think one thing when they left Boston, they were on the outside world. The security guard who found them is the one that Joel sold his drugs to.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That connection, I'm like, oh, now he has a real reason to hit you
Hmm.
because you threatened to. I could just shoot you here.
Hmm.
And the fact that he had a flashback of between what happened to him and Sarah gave him more validation to really hit him.
He definitely hit him, bruv. He was
yeah.
ground and pound.
Full
he
send.
was- he
Full
was-
send.
Yeah, he was finishing him off. And
Yeah.
only other thing, gentlemen, that people are moaning about, and I kind of did see it a little bit, but I'm just fine with it. I don't care. Do you think that this version of Ellie is not the same exact version from the start of that first game? Like a lot of people were saying, like they've took parts of like the end of 1 and the start of season 2 and just chucked in. She's got way more attitude. Like I know she had attitude at the start of season 1, but she's way more like taking the piss, like bigging up herself, sticking up for herself. Like that seemed way more intense than like the start of The Last of Us. Like how she was. She felt like a little child. Where in this, she feels like she's still a child, but she feels like she's borderline going into that late teenage. She's got the attitude going on. Do you know what I mean?
She went 0 to 100 within the first second of meeting her.
Oh yeah, just instant. When she tells her, "Why you my mum?" or something, I was dying, bro. I was like, "Yeah, nah, this is."
Well, see, that's the
this
other
is not
part.
the
Good
start,
thing you
bruv.
brought that up. Was she goes, "Oh God, are you my mom?"
Yeah.
Don't you already know who your mom is? Compared to in the game.
That's a nice
So,
little
again,
joke when she's like, "Do I look like your mom?"
yeah. Elvis, go ahead.
Oh, so to answer your question, I think so. The Ellie character, like you know who the Ellie character becomes over the course of time, and she's playing that character. But you're right, she did feel more like a innocent little girl when you met her in the game. Um, but is that realistic? I mean, we're talking about someone who's grown up in a corrupt, federally governed orphanage. You know, that's been her life growing up in a Fedra orphanage, and we know Fedra is basically like the empire. Uh, so, I mean, to be a sweet, innocent girl in the game, would that have actually been Ellie? Like, if you had the upbringing that she had, do you think she ever would have been the sweet girl? Like, maybe the game got it wrong. I'm just throwing out a different perspective. I see people's point, though, Simon.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, and I agree with that too. And I think you're right too. So what if they did get the game wrong because she's actually what was she 13 in the game?
13 or 14.
You know, so
She's,
13
I know
years.
she's 14 in the show now
Yeah.
because I watched that. I nearly said next time on Dragon Ball Z. I know what I'm losing the plot. It's getting late in the UK. It's not even late. It's 8 p.m. But I saw the thing of like the next few episodes. There's like a little trailer, like a 1 minute thing on HBO YouTube, and somewhere there was a mention that she's 14. So I know she's 14 in the show, like definitely.
Well, there was also a time difference in the game. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, 20,
So in-
23. I like
Yeah.
that. What, it was
So,
was
yeah,
it
'cause
13 in the game?
Yes. Yeah, the game was 2013,
Sneaky,
and then
mate.
in the
Sneaky, bruv.
in the show it's 03. So they're saying there's certain songs of in the game, technically part two, if they were to do the actual season two, that the song that Joel sang would not have been made yet.
Oh,
So either
gotcha.
A, he won't be singing the
Oh.
song, or B,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a different song.
He
he's gonna be
sings
singing.
a Collective Soul song, I think, maybe, or I forget. But yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing I was looking into. Um, so one scene was this, and I want to know you guys' opinion. This is not from the show, but I couldn't find one from the show right now. But
Yeah.
the towers are correct, 100%.
Very sick.
I don't know
It's
if you
not a
guys,
mirror image. That's funny.
yeah. This is from a sketch or whatever. But in the game, you hear a clicker.
Yeah.
In the distance, you never see it. You don't see anything, but in the upper left hand corner of one of the buildings in the show, you do see the clicker up there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Very
damn.
hard to see. I caught it
Yeah.
right away, but it is up there, located. You guys can't see my mouse, right?
No.
but
Can't
now.
see, bro.
No, I just saw it a second ago.
Oh yeah,
There.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can see it now. Yeah.
So, if you rewatch that scene, look in this corner right here, and you'll
Okay.
see it up there screaming its ass off.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you think
I'm gonna
we'll
go
get
back and look.
clickers next episode, or do you think
You
they'll
have
like
to.
be very
You have
slow
to.
with it?
because we got a clicker in the game when you went into those buildings, into
Yeah.
that leaning tower.
Yeah.
And that
'cause
was
you
the
were
first introduction to a clicker. You've
the
got to,
museum.
because there was this scene clicker, when Tess ends up shooting when it gets on top of Joel, and the next one is going to be in the museum. So I think next episode we're gonna get the death of Tess.
Oh, that's right. Because that's a spoiler we can't say. Okay.
I've played the game, whatever.
Play the game. We played the game.
I think that's where the next episode would be. This possibly the scene in the game when she was supposed to not wear a mask,
Yeah.
and then that's when she was like, "I told you."
Yeah.
That could.
That's
be
what I mean.
the
Like
week.
those things
Yeah.
about the spores, like they hit in the game, man. So
Yeah.
don't know how. I think
Well-
they're just gonna do what Elvis said. She'll probably get bitten, and then she'll be like, "See, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not nothing's happening."
Because
one
in the
thing-
game, that's when Joel finally believed it, because he had
Yeah.
to like see to believe, and he's like, "You're breathing this shit." Like,
Yeah.
that's when he actually was like trusting it.
One thing I noticed about the show and the game. So you guys notice in the game, there was always a chapter. So something ends, screen goes black, and there's a time jump.
Yeah.
Whether it's the 20 years between the death of Sarah and where we are in the show now, and then the seasons.
Yeah.
So we already have one time jump.
Yep.
And then now we have going into the city. So
Mhm.
that's chapter one. In the game, it'd be considered chapter 3, because now you're going into the city. So are they going to do just like they did for Andor? Every 3 episodes is essentially going to be one chapter of a show.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe I kind of feel like meeting or getting close to Billstown would be the end of the next episode. Like it feels like the natural spot, but that would already be the start of like another arc, you know?
Mm-hmm. You're muted, bro.
Guess we'll find out Sunday at 9 p.m.
Right.
Which I didn't realize it said 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
I didn't read that. I just thought 9 p.m. I gotta sit down and watch the show.
6 for
What's
you?
it, what's happening 9 p.m. Eastern time? What is it? Different
That's
time
what-
from when it was on originally?
Yeah, for me it's 6 o'clock.
Ah,
So
Yeah,
I
the
get
show
to watch
comes
it.
out Sunday night, 6 for him, 7 for me.
but now it's 9.
9 would be like New York, Florida time. So for
Okay,
you
yeah,
it'd be
geez.
9.
Oh, it's still clapped, man. I'd
Yeah.
still be. It's just gonna be Monday morning, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd wake up Monday morning and just get on there, man.
So overall, again, this is honestly I love that you guys are here because again, Elvis, you just finished both games, so it's very fresh in your mind. I think with me, I've played every single one, so I'm not gonna nitpick the show. It's more like I want to find similarities, and if the things they come up with is different, was that better, or was that worse?
Yeah.
So let's go, Elvis. Your thoughts? Episode 1, we got an hour and a half. We're also used to like live action shows that are 45 minutes.
Yeah,
But
it
we
was
got
nice. It was nice.
We got an hour and a half. So, and you don't even have to grade it 1 to 10, A, B, or C. What'd you think about the entire episode?
I as my friend might put it, God tier.
Yes, mate.
Dude, I don't think it could have been any better. I don't think they could have made any decisions differently that would have been better, like 100%. Like I was kind of thinking, how could they possibly do this video game right in a show? And so far it's like, you were wrong. We did everything right. And I fully anticipate it to be that good the rest of the way. The stakes are high, the budgets are high. I can't wait to see the rest of it. But yeah, so far I'm loving it. Even the tiny little things like Sarah was a white blonde girl, and in the show she was like kind of mulatto and dark hair. Like even changing the race, but they had already changed the race with Joel. It was just like, well, why not change it all? What does it matter? Like just here's the story. Just every decision has just been perfect so far. So yeah, I'm excited to watch the rest.
All right, my favorite, Sam. I'm ready to hear this, dude. I'm ready to hear it. What do you think about the entire episode from the
10, bruv.
the beginning? 10.
10, bruv. God tier, bro. Like, as someone who watches too much telly, yeah, that's probably one of the best first episodes of a show that I've ever seen, bruv. Like, and it's funny because you were talking about time jumps, and obviously HBO done House of the Dragon, and that had a time jump every single episode. There was like multiple year differences until it got so far they changed the actors. So I'm down with time jumps. I think the next episode will start immediately, and then after episode 2 there'll be a time jump. But yeah, score wise, 10, bruv. Like 10, God tier. The blueprint's the same, everything's the same. For me now, the only way they can F this up is if they introduce a new character who no one gives a F about, for whatever dumb reason. John. Here's John, because why not? Like, if they do that, it will start to fall apart. But I think literally just do the game, bruv. Like, you can't flop it. Just do the game, and you've got an A-star show, bruv. You know what I mean? Also, real quick, I think the next few episodes will be 1 hour, and I reckon the last episode will be another 80, 85-minute banger again. That's what I think.
That'd be good. I'd be accepting of that.
Dude, I'm just too excited for it's the fact that we have to wait a whole another week. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed this hour and a half than I did every season of the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah,
it's a different, bruv. Like,
you know what I mean? I sat there, I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah.
Like
every minute hit.
We got comedy, an hour and a half. We got a lot of fear because those runners were runners. Not only were they runners, but they would tackle.
Yeah, they're sprinters.
They were hitting stuff. We got a lot of emotional, sad moments, and just a 45-second scene. That when that scene was over, you sat there like,
yeah, there's so many just looks that sold the scene. Just a look.
So we got so much in this episode that the last 8 episode is like these all better be bangers.
Yeah, it
If
has
you
to be.
They
you know
have
what I
to
mean?
be.
And the thing about the
Yeah.
game was essentially every chapter, something happened in every chapter that made you say, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Builds up and builds up and builds up. Like I
Yep.
think they've already hammered they've hammered it home, bruv. Like the world ain't safe. Like everyone's like, oh, the clickers. As Elvis said, the real thing of the show is how shit people are. That's the whole thing. Is that people are so bad. Like you think this person's good until it's time to like
Yeah.
tune up, and then they're bad, bruv. Like that's just the running thing of the whole. And I know it's like that because I've seen online people think that Sarah was the main character. She dies 20 minutes later, and they're like, "What is actually going on?" Like, because a lot of people, like, we're fucking nerds, bro. Yeah, on this channel, we know who Pedro is. A lot of people don't know who he is. Like I was saying in my reaction, like, "Yeah, Mando's here. Let's go, Mando." People are like, "Who?" Like, what's a Mando, bruv? Like, is that a fish or something? Like, no one knows. Not everyone knows, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was
At
like, okay.
any point in this show, did you watch and you can hear Pedro talking, and you're like, "That's Mando."
If you do you know what, one bit, bro, I
I
laughed
can
so
bring
bad,
you
bro.
in
I had to
colder.
pause it, bro. When the guy come over and he starts whispering to him, and he's like, "If you tell me about the light and the darkness, I'm gonna break your effing jaw." Or something. And I was like,
That was very Mando.
I wanted to hear that with one of Elvis's helmets on, bro. Like that would have been so sick.
I just want someone to like have scenes of the Mandalorian and then
It has to.
put the audio from the Last of Us, him talking, and they'd be like, "Yeah, it still works. It still works."
People are going to be able to steal scenes of Pedro, like sound bites, and put it over the Mandalorian like scenes and redub it. It'll be funny. Hey, I got a question for you guys and a comment to go along with it. So I think for this after show to be fair, we can spoil anything from what we just watched, but try not to spoil stuff that we know
Yes.
is coming.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what are you guys most looking forward to seeing in this series without getting too spoilery? And my answer would be Bill's Town, which I think is coming up pretty quick. And we got to see Bill in the trailer, so I feel like there's no spoilers there. But to Sam's comment, like if they introduce a character and they're like, here's John, and like whatever, we already kind of know that they do that because we see Frank in live action where we don't in the video game. If you know what I'm saying? Like we see in the trailer, Frank's alive, but you never got that in the video game. So they kind of are introducing a character already, but I'm very intrigued what they're going to do with that story. I think they're going to make it even more meaningful than it was in the video game. So I'm really looking forward to that. What are you guys looking forward to?
I agree with what you're saying though. Give us layers, just don't subtract stuff. Give us layers. Like if there's characters' names being dropped, I'm fine, bro. Cast anyone and just give us it. Cool. But I think if you write a new character, that's when you start digging a grave, bruv. For me, what I'm most looking forward to, without any spoilers, I try a bit because they hinted at it, but they didn't say it. Without saying it, we're saying it's spoiler free. I'm looking forward to like factions outside of the wall that are completely gone in here, mate. That's what I want to see. I want to see people who've been living in the woods. Do you know what I mean? Who are completely gone, mate. Like just
when the radio guy says there's worse things out there than clickers.
I'm glad someone remembered the bloody lines because I can't. But when I see stuff like that, I'm gonna. I mean, also interested. Like, are they going to show that? Like, there's some. I know it's rated 18, rated M, mature, whatever. But damn, like a video game maturity is not a show maturity. Do you know what I mean? It's still on HBO Max, bruv.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see like how mashed up they make, because even visually, like I know in a game people are like copy and paste NPCs, so like this person belongs here, this person belongs here, but I'd actually really like to see that in live action. Like, do you know what I mean? I think that'd be pretty sick. What are you saying, Chris?
I've been sitting here trying to figure out.
It's hard.
There's so much in this story, and all I'm gonna say is David. All I'm saying is David.
Okay.
Because you definitely see a change in some of these characters that obviously we see the evolution of characters from the game to David. The bond between Ellie and Joel, how it changes. And that scene was a big scene, I think, especially for Joel.
Yeah.
And to see it in live action, how they do it, because we obviously we see the changes in this first episode. We see things that are similar. We
Mhm.
see how it was going to go the direction of the game, and then it
Mhm.
changed. For instance, the truck to the plane.
Yeah. Mhm.
What's going to happen here that is going to make a big change to like? And another one is Bill. I think Elvis, you and I spoke about it. I want to know more about Bill.
Mm.
Yeah.
If we're getting more information about Sarah, you know, we got
Yeah.
more, you know,
And the
I
actor
think
who's playing him.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
think
saying. If you got the big names,
yeah, I
Yeah.
think he deserves a good story.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care. It could very well be a flashback. That's how episode.
I think it'll be
I think Bill will be episode
that,
3.
bro.
Yeah, I think
I think
Bill
it'll be
will
like
episode
that.
3.
You'll
You
see
know what-
something happen and it'll be at the same time, but you don't know where in the timeline it's happening.
Yeah.
Because I kind of got that vibe, you know, when Elvis, you were saying when they went to do the shootout and everyone's already dead. Like that could be a thing where maybe some later on with other people, they might show you something that's not actually happening at the same time
Mhm.
as Joel and Ellie. And then when it links together, you're like, damn, like, okay, this has already happened and blah, blah. I think that's an easy way to introduce someone who we know who's not in the game, do like that. Or I'm probably wrong. Most of the time I am wrong. So yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? Oh shoot, I forgot the guy's name. Who plays Snoke?
Uh,
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. So when Andy Serkis came on to Andor, and you're like, "Who's
Damn.
this character?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh shoot, he's gonna be the character I love now." Like, I feel like that's about to happen with Bill.
Yeah.
Like, because in the game he's just kind of this, whatever guy. I don't want to get into any spoilers, but now that we have like an actor coming in to do Bill's part, I'm really excited about that part.
so before we end the episode, this is gonna be episode 1 of The Last of Us, of episode 1 of the show. I want to get final thoughts from both of you guys of whatever you think about the show. Just anything.
It's gangster, bruv. Gangster. Great start. I'm interested to see, like, you know, we've got the starters, then the runners, and then the next one, which I cannot remember the name of, and then it's the clickers. Yeah,
Bloaters.
Are we gonna get more? Because there's more. Like you got the fat dude, and all
bloaters.
you can throw the stuff at you. Like, are we gonna get that? Like, that's what I'm thinking of, and I'm hoping. Like, I need the clickers to be such a menacing thing when it comes on. That is, I just need to see it. That's my final thought, bro. I need to see the clickers because I hated them in the game. I want them to be scary in the show, man. You know what I mean?
Elvis.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I watched the IGN review of season 1, and one of his comments were, "I wish there might have been a bit more clicker stuff." But what he said, what they wrote, but what they used was so good and very tasteful, and of course, it can't just be that the whole time. So I kind of have an expectation already there. But yeah, no, I think every minute hit, every decision's perfect so far. There's I can't think of a negative thing to say to critique, and I'm usually that dude can find the negative thing to say. So no, I think it's perfect. God tier for my brav down there. It's gonna be awesome. I really anticipate everything to be this good.
I'm just gonna say I think the one thing
be.
I want is in this episode, I think what we're getting already is great character development. Already in an hour and a half, we got great character development. A couple times in the show, I got what I wanted, but now I want more of it. Is more fear. There was when we saw the grandmother eating, and she did this, and all she did was go.
Yeah, like the mushrooms coming out,
and then there was the other guy when Joel was holding Sarah. He's in the middle of eating, and all of a sudden it was a quick jerk, like.
He's eating, and he looks,
and he did that. I was like, oh, that guy was like, oh shit, you know.
That's enough. That's enough though to like.
Yeah.
All I heard was some big dog screaming. She said, bro.
No, he's not even big. He's about this big.
Really? Damn. I thought it'd be some dire wolf or something, bro.
No. But I want a little bit of fear because there's in the game there was those fear moments that we had where it's just like spores. Okay, put the spore. Put your mask on, and then all of a sudden it's just really dark. It's really quiet, and in the background you hear an echo. You're like, oh shit. Okay, and you have to kind of get ready for that moment in the game. I want that in the show.
Dude,
I
that's
want
one thing we haven't
something to
talked
happen.
about is the sound.
Yeah,
And we didn't get that much of it. We got one at the very end of the show.
right at the end. Yeah.
At the very end of the episode, we got one clicker.
Yeah.
How many more are we going to deal with? Because in the game, there's a point in the room you're with 3 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had to hint at it at the end, but I'm just mean the music, the soundtrack in general.
Beautiful.
In the opening credits was pretty sick, bro. I gotta be honest, like I'm that guy. Like if a show's got an opening credit scene that's really good, I'll watch it every time. I mean, it seems like HBO just smack always.
The Game of Thrones one.
Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, always, man, always.
They played the
True
song
Blood, all of them
at the intro, and I sat there. I was like, "They used the song," and my
Yeah.
girlfriend looked at me, and she looked at me. She said, "Why wouldn't they?" And I was like,
Yeah.
shut up. Let me have this, guys. Let me have it.
But mad respect to the video game audience. Like this has really got a lot of love going back to the fan base. Like it's
there's a lot of eyes watching this show, from a lot of people that say like this is in their like top 5 favorite game ever. If you make some big slip ups, you're gonna know about it. Do you know what I mean? And there'll never be season 2 ever. But so far, I mean, I haven't seen any moaning things. Only like the most minuscule nitpick things, and they're from people who've played the games. So like, I think if you're watching this fresh, you're gonna be like, damn, like you don't know what's going on right now. You know what I mean?
Oh man, but Sam's, Elvis, thank you so much for coming in. We're gonna do this again next week because this was too good. Honestly, I was gonna skip it just because I had some things going on, and Sam's, you already knew what it was, and Sam's like, no, you gotta pump this out now, and I'm like,
done,
right.
bro. Get done.
The episode was too good not to pump it out right now.
Man.
So, guys, thank you so much for attending this. Honest,
Thanks,
I know it's kind of last minute for both of you guys to come too. So,
All
dude, I'm so excited for the show. I don't want to wait another week. I really don't. I wish it was just kind of like one episode after. I wish they did 2 episodes right away. So
I think. Do you know what? I have a theory. Yeah, I know this gone over an hour. Sorry, brother. I have a theory, mate. Anytime I see a show drop 2 episodes, it means one of 2 things: it's shit, and they need 2 episodes to reel you in, or 2, it's so complex that they need 2 full, like, and/or 3 episodes.
Yeah, you needed a follow-up.
This is gonna suck, man. But you really needed those 3 episodes to really like get you in, sort of thing. So
like this way,
I think
the premiere was great. The way they did it, I think it's just me being selfish. It's like I just want more of it.
To be fair, they probably could have made that 2 episodes, a 2 45-minute episode.
Oh yeah. I think the rest will be an hour. I'll be honest, on the reverse, because you got to be fair in life, innit? I'm glad it ain't Netflix. No disrespect to Netflix, yeah. I'm glad it ain't. Have all of them now, because it's like I like having this chat with my mates, and we're all on the same level. We all on. No one's ahead. You can't. Oh, have you seen this yet? Or can't wait for you to see episode 3. It's like, okay, cool. I better hurry and get there. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh man. Well, thanks again, guys. Everyone, if you guys saw the episode, if you played the game, did you guys like this episode? Did you like the comparisons? Did you like the differences? Let us know below. Don't forget, go on down, follow Elvis at the Brodalorian and Sam's, of course, at Sam's Nerd. If you want actually to watch trailers of games or reaction to games and laugh your ass off, Sam's is the person to watch because I can't help but laugh every single time I watch one of his videos. I have to watch it on my big screen TV because then it's even funnier to me. So, but guys, thank you again for coming by. Again, let us know if you like this episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.